Hey, folks, I ain't no storyteller, but I gotta share what happened out there in the Vancouver forests. It's messed up, and I need y'all to hear it. Names changed, of course. So, one summer weekend, me and my buddies, Jake, Sarah, and Mike, decided to go camping. We found this perfect spot deep in the woods, far from the noise of the city. Little did we know, we were stepping into the jaws of hell. First night was normal, just a bit of rustling in the bushes. But on the second night, things went south real quick. We heard this blood-curdling scream in the distance, like a wounded animal, but something about it felt human. Naturally, we grabbed our flashlights and went to check it out. That's when we stumbled upon it, a hut, hidden in the shadows. It looked ancient, like it didn't belong there. Jake kicked the door open, and the stench hit us like a truck, a mix of death and decay. Inside, we found pictures scattered all over, faces of missing folks. Chills ran down my spine. We knew something was seriously wrong. Just as we were about to leave, we heard footsteps outside, heavy and deliberate. We doused our flashlights and hid in the darkness. A figure emerged from the trees, covered in rags and holding an old, rusty axe. The killer. We held our breaths as he entered the hut, not knowing if he could sense us. From our hiding spots, we saw him dragging a poor soul inside, unconscious and bleeding. The killer muttered to himself, something about cleansing and sacrifice. That's when it hit us, he was butchering people, one by one. As the night wore on, we witnessed the horrors unfold. Each time, the killer brought another victim, and the forest echoed with their agonizing screams. We were paralyzed with fear, unable to do anything. Then, out of nowhere, Sarah spotted a familiar face among the pictures, her cousin, Tim, missing for weeks. That's when something snapped inside her. She looked at us, determination in her eyes, and whispered, "We can't let him take anyone else." Mike, Jake, and I nodded in agreement. It was time to put an end to this nightmare. Armed with makeshift weapons, we confronted the killer when he returned with another victim. The struggle was fierce. The forest seemed to hold its breath as we fought for our lives. Adrenaline pumping, we managed to overpower him. It was Mike who delivered the final blow, his face contorted with rage. As the killer lay there, life draining from his eyes, we felt a mix of relief and horror. The nightmare was over, but the scars would stay with us forever. We called the cops, showed them the hut, and the twisted trophies the killer had collected. But even now, when I close my eyes, I can still hear the screams, feel the darkness closing in. The Vancouver forests, once our escape, became a prison of nightmares. And though the killer's gone, the shadows linger, whispering the tales of those lost in the woods.